I am here at the local HEB shopping center, and I'm going to go in and um, get my inspection redone. So I thought it was time for a video on the effectiveness between long and short-term fasts. I've gotten like probably 4 emails just yesterday alone with regard to, does it help your fast to do a 2-day straight fast? Does it help your OMAD fast to do 2 days of straight fasting, like water fasting, before you start? And the answer is yes and no. Yes, it is helpful to start your OMAD fast with a straight water fast, if you're game to do that. And this is where you get back to the old dieting cliche, the best diet is the one you can stay on. Well, that's true, because the problem becomes that comes at the cost of possibly sabotaging your stability. And that's why, since the very first video on this channel, I do not suggest long water fasts for weight loss. The problem with those is they aren't sustainable. And that's always, since the first video, I have not advertised or advocated long fasts for weight loss. And like a muscle, it is different. You can train your muscles to pick up heavy amounts of weight. That's one type of strength. Another type of strength is taking a lightweight and curling it many times and making your body develop stamina to do so. So there's different kinds of difficulty that you want to adjust to. If you're finding this channel just today and your goal is to lose 100 pounds, stability should be your stronghold. That should be your fortress, the ability to go long, which means you need to start picking and eating time, staying faithful to it, and come hell or high water, don't vary your routines. If you're addicted to sugar and you're finding this channel and you've already started OMAD, you're having trouble, and a lot of people, you just write me about sugar addiction. The problem there, you might consider a water fast, and what that will do, maybe the first 2 days, is break that sugar dependence, because the contradiction with OMAD is that it's easier to go without anything than with a little. And that's why it's surprising. It's hard to have one cupcake and some chips and maybe a hot dog. It's easier to have nothing than to have that, because that's going to stimulate a lot of insulin. It's going to make your fasting even harder. That's kind of the contradiction. So if you are sugar addicted, you might go and you have failed at OMAD multiple times and you think it's above you. What you might do is do 2 days of strict water fasting. Give yourself coffee and tea only, nothing added, and that'll give you stamina. But again, that comes with the caveat of safety and stability. You have to make sure that everything that you're doing lends itself to long-term success. And that's why most of these channels that are advocating 21-day water only fasts and going to Costa Rica and setting up shop, just there and laying around and being advised on your fasting, those aren't sustainable options. You can get the same benefits from 48 to 72 hours of fasting, or even up to like 5 or 7 days. You could do that, but after you're going to get to a point where the diminishing returns show up, because your body's going to go into a preserving mode where you're going to be less optimized after a while, and you're going to feel really good. You're going to have some advantages, but then lo and behold, you're going to get to a point where when you're done, it occurs to you in a light bulb moment that you have no game plan from there. Well, if you were doing original OMAD, that would be really good, because you'd know what you're going to do. And that's why on this channel, from the very first video, I have not been an advocate of long, needless fasts. Yes, they'll give you a boost, but they're not going to long-term sustain you. So that's why, if you take the self-control that you would use for a 7-day water fast and you put it into, I'm going to make a meal only what makes a meal, and I'm going to stop after that. I'm going to have 1,100 calories today or 1,500 calories today, and then I'm going to stop. That's going to be your strength, and you're going to find that that's harder to do sometimes than you otherwise suspected. But if you win there, you win the game. If you can control yourself today until 11 a.m. or whenever you eat your meal, and control yourself tomorrow until 11 a.m. and eat your meal, and do the same thing again and again, you've won the game, because that's what's going to enable you to succeed when others are not able to. I was contacted by a woman a couple hours ago who lost 130 pounds by implementing that program. So the problem with all of these water fasts, these long water fasts, is that their value is very limited because they're not sustainable. And so that's why, for all of the benefit that you get with going long term on just water or just liquids, you don't really have the optimization power long term. And if you're not careful, you'll develop an eating disorder. I have been contacted by 2 people within the past month who developed eating disorders by doing long fasts, because what that did is it created a disparity in the way they ate when their fast was done. So if you go on a fast and then you jump off the fast and you decided to eat like a maniac for 2 weeks, you have really done yourself kind of a disservice, a big disservice, because what do you expect? How do you expect your body's going to react to that? Yes, you will keep, you can go off a fast and eat like hell and go back on a fast, but who has the schedule for that? I got contacted by a guy the other day who's into 1 day of splurging and 3 days of fasting. You can do that, but this guy happens to be retired, and he doesn't have any obligations except 1 hour of he works like 4 hours a week. He works a part-time job because he's financially independent. So yes, he can take 3 days and eat nothing, and then eat like bloody hell 1 day. I mean, just bloody hell, food coma. Maybe sometimes he goes 2 days of eating like that, just bloody hell, food coma eating, and then he does 3 days of fasting. But most of us can't do that. What the heck would we would want to do that for? So you see how the fine line between eating disorder and fasting exists. You will optimize your life with fasting, but only if you can do it consistently. So please don't fall into the trap of inconsistent eating, because that is where the ugly head of eating disorders pops up. And once you see it, it's hard to unsee it. It's hard to get rid of it. You need to remember your objective fasting. Is it mental clarity? Is it health? Is it weight loss? If you go on a 15-day fast, you will lose some weight, but your body will put it back on when it's done, because it's going to try to prevent that from happening, because as far as it thinks, you're starving, you're dying. It's got to stop that from happening again, and it's going to buffer that with ravenous eating, and you're going to undo the success that you otherwise would have. The reason OMAD Standard is so successful is because it allows you to go into light ketosis. I've explained this before. And then you have a portion of the day where you get a refeed on the next day, and it's not too far to where your body goes into full-blown ketosis, and your body has to guard against you dying. It has to keep over motivating you and over taxing your adrenal glands so that you're going out there and trying to find food. It manipulates the system in just the right way. That's the way we have to do things in a world too full of food, where everything around us is just too packed. So remember your goal and remember the purpose. Long-term fasting is not as good as short-term fasting for weight loss and overall life optimization. If you apply the rules that I've started this channel with, you'll get further in life than if you do otherwise. However, there is a place for long-term fasting as well, provided you're ready for it. And that's the key. All right, that's it for today. I'm going to go in and get rid of this, finish my obligations, and probably do some heavy squats or curls, and do a little working out, and then I don't know. So have a good day.